Yes. Okay, great. Welcome, everybody. My name is Melinda Johnson, and I'm here today with two of my coworkers, Majid Anwar and Kristen Kroger. And we are reference librarians at the HPD Library, and we're here today to talk about EndNote. I'm going to go over the steps for downloading and setting up EndNote, and they're going to go through some of the features of using EndNote. So what is EndNote? EndNote is a citation management software. And there are actually several different citation management softwares out there, but NOVA has actually purchased EndNote. So EndNote is free for faculty, staff, and students. With EndNote, if you're not familiar with it, while you're in the library's databases, you can actually, after you've selected references, you can export them over into EndNote. And then once in EndNote, you can store them there and organize them. And you can organize them with groups, and you can actually set up to 5,000 groups in EndNote. You can also store your PDFs in EndNote, so all of your research is together in one place. And the PDFs, you can add notes, you can highlight as well. There's a search capability in EndNote, so you can search through your PDFs as well as your references. What else? There's a feature called Cite While You Write, and that is where when you are typing in Word, your paper, you can actually go ahead and insert the references right from EndNote. It adds the reference, the in-text citation, and it creates the bibliography for you as you're writing your paper. How many of you have used EndNote or are currently using? Well, I know most of the staff, yes. So what I'm going to first show you is we've created this LibGuide. This EndNote LibGuide, which is going to take us through the different steps of setting up EndNote on your computer. And the URL for this LibGuide is right here. It's nova.campusguides.com/EndNote-LibGuide. Right here across the top. Okay, the first thing you want to do is check compatibility. The newest version of EndNote, which came out last fall, is X6. And they list here the compatibility for it's for Windows as well as the Macs. So you just need to make sure that your computer would be compatible with the X6. If not, you may need to download one of the older versions. And then across the bottom of the page is the compatibility with that Cite While You Write feature. That's where you insert the citations in your Word document. So you need to make sure that your version, your word processing program, is compatible with EndNote. And you'll see the little C's. There's C's in these boxes. That means that that version is compatible. And again, there's for Windows as well as for Mac computers. So just double check this before you download EndNote. There's a question? X6 is the latest version, yes. Yes. Okay, so once you've determined that your computer is compatible, you can go ahead and download it. There are directions on here for both the Windows version and the Mac version. The Windows version is a little bit more complicated in that when you go to download it, it downloads a zip file. So it's extremely important that once you've downloaded the zip file that you extract the files out. If you don't, it will go ahead and start downloading and you think everything's fine, and then at the very end it will ask you for a product key, which means that you need to go back and start over and make sure you extract those files. And there are visual instructions right here. And if it opens, okay, well, there are visual instructions there. And it shows you the screenshot showing you exactly what it's going to look like when you download the initial file and then you go to extract it. One thing you need to make sure with both the Windows and the Macs is that you close all Microsoft applications before you begin the downloading process. And on the Mac computers, it's extremely important that you use Firefox. Okay, Safari and EndNote don't work well together. So it's much better if you use Firefox, not just for the downloading, but then when you're actually using EndNote. Okay? Does anybody have any questions so far? Anything online? Nope. Okay. Okay, so once it's downloaded, you need to create a library. There's two ways to do this. During the initial downloading process, when you get to the very end, you have the option there of actually creating a new library. So you can set it up right there. It's the very last step of the downloading process. If you want to wait, you can do that. And once you open up EndNote for the first time, come up to File and go to New. And you can create a new library. Now, it's very important to only create and use one library. EndNote allows you to create as many libraries as you want, but it can get very complicated. And EndNote themselves, if you watch any of the tutorials online, they also recommend only keeping one library. Mm-hmm. You can organize with groups. You can organize. Nobody's stopping you from creating more than one library. It can just get very complicated. There's no way to search across multiple libraries. So if you're not sure where your reference is, you'd have to go through all your libraries to find it. But what they recommend and what we recommend is that you create groups, and Kristen's going to go over that, within your EndNote library. And so you can organize your material by project, by subject, by author, however you want to organize it. And you can create up to 5,000 groups. Okay. So once you've downloaded everything, you've created a new library. The next step, there's a few settings that you need to do within EndNote to make it to get the most out of it, basically. One thing at the top, there's a drop-down box. With EndNote, you have access to hundreds and hundreds of citation styles. Okay. When you initially download, you'll see just a few on your main library. But if you click on Select Another Style, it's going to take you into the list where there are hundreds more styles. You can browse through the list. You can search by subject if you click on Find By. You can also do a search. So if you're in the health field, the AMA style is very popular, very common. It goes under JAMA. So if you go ahead and select that, I'm highlighting it. Then I click on Choose. And now we have that listed here in the drop-down box. Okay. Another setting would be, sure. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the question was, once you've selected a citation style, can you change it later? And the answer is yes, at any time. You can change it in EndNote, and then once you're in Word, you can change it in Word as well. Okay. Another setting, if you go to Edit, Import Filters, and then Open Filter Manager, you're going to see a list of databases, and what you want to do is go ahead, you can go through and pick specific ones, but generally it's better just to go through and mark all of them, and then you just need to close the window. And we're doing this so basically EndNote can communicate with all the different library databases. So when you're in a database, you can export your references into EndNote. Okay, and the last setting I want to talk about is the journal terms list. When you import a reference from a database, it's going to come in whatever style it was in the database. So for example, if you're familiar with PubMed, if you bring a reference over from PubMed, it's going to be in the AMA style. And in the AMA style, if you're familiar with that, the journal title is abbreviated. And there are other citation styles that are similar where they have abbreviated the journal title. And if you're using a different citation style, for example, APA, which puts the full journal name, you can ask EndNote to change the citation style into APA, and it will change everything correctly except the journal name, because it doesn't have the information. It doesn't have the full journal name anywhere. So what you can do is what they call add a journal terms list. And to do that, if you go up to Tools, and the directions for this are on the LibGuide that I just showed you earlier, because it's actually quite a few steps for this. So I'm just going to show you the end result. But if you go up to Tools and click on Open Term Lists and come over and select Journals Term List. And why isn't it not opening? Oh, thank you. No. That's weird. Well, I did it when I set it up when I came in here. Yeah. One of them? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Okay. So before this session started, I went ahead and downloaded the journal terms list, one of them. And this is what it looks like. If you have not downloaded the journal terms list, this would be blank right here in the center. But I've downloaded actually for the medical journal terms list, and so you're going to see side by side the full journal name and then abbreviations. So when you, for example, again, if you have brought a reference in from PubMed with the abbreviation, you switch it over to APA, it now has a source. It comes to this list, finds the full name, and switches it over. So you'll have the full name instead of the abbreviated journal name. And there's a question. EndNote. When you add it, which again the steps are in the LibGuide, when you add it, it's actually in a folder on your computer. When you downloaded EndNote, they've put the folder on your computer with all the different terms lists. Yes. Any other questions? No? Great. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Kristen now.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Kristen Kroger, and I'm one of the liaison librarians from HPD. And I'm going to be talking about finding full text. Now, I had used EndNote previously, but I didn't. In the X5 version, they added the ability for EndNote to be able to find the full text of citations that you have in your library. So, okay. Would you be able to discuss the process of syncing your library with multiple computers? You're going to go over that with EndNote Web? Is that Rick Davenport? Okay. Hi, Rick. Majid will contact you personally or via email or phone to go through the process with you. Is that okay? Okay. Yes. Now, this process, like I said, I had used EndNote before, but we actually had the trainer from EndNote come in, and she told us about this enhanced capability, and it completely changed my usage of EndNote. Now, it's not foolproof, so, and when I say that, I mean if you have citations in your EndNote library, you ask it to find the full text, and again, I will go through the process of how to set that up. But if it says it couldn't be found, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't have access to the journal. It just means that the pathway to the full text was not obvious to the computer. So it may be, I don't want you to think that, well, EndNote said that, you know, it couldn't be found. I would suggest if that happens, contact your favorite librarian, and she would be able to, he or she, sorry Matt, would be able to walk you through the process. So the LibGuide that Melinda, created which is very wonderful, and I'm going to be using this as my, my guide. But you'll notice on the LibGuide over here, it's setting full text. It's underneath getting started. Can he see that? Okay. So I'm just going to click on that. And these are the steps and the information links that you're going to need to put into your EndNote library. And I'll show you where to find that. In EndNote, you're going to click on, here, sorry. I'm going to go to Edit and Preferences down at the bottom. And you'll see a number of options under EndNote Preferences, and Find Full Text is one of them. If you click on Find Full Text, I recommend, and again, all this information is on that LibGuide, and I would put check marks in all of the options, the Web of Knowledge, the DOI, PubMed, and OpenURL. And in these two boxes, you have two text boxes in the Find Full Text screen. And one says Open URL Path, and the other one says Authenticate with URL. And again, all of these, there's a screenshot on that LibGuide, and it actually tells you the exact website that you're going to have to put in. And then after you put those in, for Rick, the open URL path is http://easyproxylocal.library.nova.edu. And after you put these in, when in your EndNote library, you can select which site. Actually, let me show you. So after you put the web addresses in, you click OK. Now for these, I would select the ones. I'm holding down the Control key so that I can select multiple citations at one time. And then this little icon that has the picture of the world with the circular arrow and the little, looks like a page that's in front of it. That is the icon for Find Full Text. So I've selected the citations that I want to find the full text for, and I'm going to click this button. And for those of you that have used our library databases before, you should be pretty familiar with these four boxes. It's the authentication screen. And just as if you were in one of our databases, you're going to have to authenticate. And then click Submit. Or click Continue. And then it gives you the copyright warning. Click OK to continue. And you see that it's searching. Okay, so one was not found. It's still searching. And like I said, if it ends up coming up and saying that it was not, that it could not find all three, don't take EndNote's word for it. It might be possible that we do have access, so don't give up hope. But if it does find the PDF, what's nice is that it'll actually attach it, and you will see, still searching, but underneath the paperclip, a little paperclip will appear. There it is. So I don't know if you saw that, but it's a little paperclip appeared in the first citation. So it has, EndNote has already found the PDF and has attached it to your citation. And it's still searching. You can import PDFs from another source. However, Majid, do you want me to wait? He's going to go over it, but so I'll let him. But to answer your question, yes, you can. Yes, there's a caveat because if okay, so it says it's still searching, but you see that it found it. if I open up the record and I scroll down, the PDF is right there. So the effectiveness of hydrotherapy in the management of rheumatoid arthritis. So, I mean, this has been incredible, and my EndNote library is huge, so I'm not, the copyright police haven't, you know, come and found me yet. But, I mean, you're still authenticating, but so we should all be good. But that's where I keep all of my PDFs. I attach them. And if you have the PDF separately and you already have a citation in your EndNote library, Majid's going to go over how to attach that to your citation. Yes? Yes. Yes. So that way, EndNote can be your citation management software. Now, Melinda didn't mention, but EndNote lives on one computer. So, and you can, what the Rick Davenport was asking was syncing your library. There is a web component, and Majid, are you going to briefly mention? No. Okay. The web component to EndNote is called EndNote Web, and that's if you're not at your physical computer where EndNote is downloaded, you know, you're at the library and you happen to find a citation, you can send it to your EndNote Web account, and then when you get home, sync them. So, and again, we can give you more information about that. Okay, so that is setting up the full text. Now let me go back. And so for two of them, two of the three, it found the PDFs and attached them. So the next thing I wanted to go over was doing the direct export. And the nice thing is that in this LibGuide that Melinda has compiled, you'll notice there are PDFs, and a few of them have actual video instructions for how to do a direct export from one of the library databases and exporting the citations into your EndNote library. Now I'm going to do a sample. The first one in the list is EBSCO, which is one of our families of databases. And let me go back. Just going to do a sample search. So then once you have your search, you could add them to your folder, because you'll notice that the export option is not on this screen. It isn't until you add them to a folder. So I'll add the first two to a folder. Then I'll go to my folder, which was over on the right-hand side. Then you'll notice on the right, down at the bottom, it says export. And that's how you're going to get your citations from the EBSCO database or any of the other databases into your EndNote library. So I'm going to select both of my citations. I'm going to click export, and it will bring you to another screen. This is where you have the option of putting them in different formats, but luckily EndNote is the default or one of the defaults. So you would just, the radio button is already chosen, and then you would choose Save. And then you'll see those two articles are now in my library, and it's in a file or a folder that is called Imported References. So they're right there. Does anybody have any questions? I know I went over that very quickly, but that's why when I'm looking for citations and I want to get them into my EndNote library, rather than manually entering all the information in, I usually do the shortcut and locate it in one of our databases and then export it over. And then that way the abstract, the author, title, volume, page number, everything is already in the citation. So in case I goof and I forget to enter the page numbers, it's done it already for me. So that is, and like I said, from the LibGuide that Melinda had created, we have them by the database name and have PDF instructions and for some of them video instructions. Yes?
Online attendee is asking, does it automatically get saved into your library after this step is imported into the reference?
It will stay in this imported references folder, or this, I guess I should say it's like a holding queue called imported references, and it will stay there until you put it elsewhere. One of the other things I'm going to go through is creating groups so that you can manage. It's like file folders, but EndNote calls them groups. And so that is, you could move it from the imported references queue into a group of your choosing. Did that answer his question? You're welcome. Okay, so that was the direct export. Now, I'm sorry, was there no? Okay. In EndNote, you can also add references, like I said, manually. And to do that, you would click on References in your EndNote library or in your EndNote program. Under References, you would choose New Reference. Then you would be able to select the type. So if you were wanting to put in a journal name, if you wanted to put in a manuscript or a map, it would give you different fields to fill in. But like I said, I find that the easiest thing to do is to find it in one of the databases and then do the direct export over. That way I don't have to go through the 30 fields that it has here available. So I find it easiest. But if you find one, it's not in one of the databases or you can't find it there, you would go to References. Underneath, you would choose New Reference. And then once in this dialog box, you would click and choose the reference type, whether it be a book, journal article, what have you. Well, you don't have to. And again, a lot of this information, you could put keywords, you could put tags so that, I mean, this is your library. So obviously you don't have to fill everything in, but say, you know, you're doing some work with Dr. Jones. You could put his name in a little, you know, notes field so that now when you go back, you could do a quick search and you could search for Dr. Jones, and so all the references that you are, you know, put his name in would come up. So to answer your question, no, you don't have to fill out all those forms or all the boxes. They give you that option so that you can fill in as much information as you want.
I'm just a little confused here. What's the point of going manual run?
I don't find that there is an advantage. Oh, yes?
But I can't load that map in there.
Yeah, you can. You can attach it, yeah.
Or if you were in oceanography and you were referencing some dive you did, you could then actually input, dove on such and such a day, here's my video clip. So, you see what I mean? Yeah. So it's more something you were doing outside of straight research.
Or is any research stock in one database?
Yes.
And then there are some databases, not many, that don't have any kind of download functionality, like LexisNexis. So sometimes if that article is only in those types of databases, you're going to have to manually enter.
So that's important for me. So all, like, for example, all law, like case law, statutes, all those kinds of things, I don't have to manually put them in.
Yeah, like
All LexisNexis.
yeah, I don't think they have any. I haven't found any functionality.
I don't.
LexisNexis.
I use medical.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I mean, anti-cyclic carry, obviously.
Okay, so that was manually adding references. Now, once you have a reference in, sometimes they're not all correct, especially if I've typed it in myself. I might have found a typo. The way to edit the reference, just double-click on the citation you want to edit. It will open up the full record, and you would simply be able to correct. So say, for example, this year was 2013, and I made a mistake, and it was actually 2012. To edit it, you would simply double-click to open up the full record of the citation, and then I could go back and change that to 2012. And so if you want to change any of the information or add notes, you can do that by simply double-clicking, opening the citation, and then typing in the changes that you want to make. Now I'm going to close this reference. And groups. We mentioned that you should only we recommend only creating one library. However, the way to manage your references within EndNote is with groups. And they actually look like little file folders. And so I have a file folder for, I have a zillion of them. And to create a group, you would just click on the Groups tab from the top, create group, and Dr. Jones. So I have created a group. So you see the little file folder there. And now, so the folder says Dr. Jones. There's nothing in it. I can highlight these from my imported references, those 2 journal articles that I got from EBSCO. And I'm going to click, hold it down, and drag them into my folder. So now you'll see my Dr. Jones folder has the 2 imported references in there. Are there any other questions about groups? Yes. The question was, can you have the same article in multiple groups? And the answer is yes.
And then there's a question from Rick Davenport. If working with team of researchers, could you talk about the best way to share one group/library with the other group members, or also updating the one library/group?
You would have to do that through EndNote Web. And again, Majid will talk to you about that. But EndNote Web has the ability to share libraries or folders with other people. So you would actually, within EndNote Web, you would go in and indicate you want to share it with Elena and indicate your email address. And then when Elena logs into her EndNote Web account, you will see that it will be in there. So you will then have access to that shared library or shared group.
And just one update. Let's say, because the last time I checked it, it does now allow you to download to EndNote. So just so that there's not that information out there, it now allows you to do that.
Okay. So that was creating groups, and I believe you can create up to 5,000 groups. And you can actually create group sets. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes?
If you want to say clear the imported references, let's say you create that group with Dr. Jones and you want to tag those both with Dr. Jones group only. If you ever want to clear your imported references and you delete those, will they still be available in the group, or you have to keep them there as well?
You don't have to keep them there. No. Yes. Right up here. However, if you delete them from the all references, then I believe it goes away completely. And
I have another question for example, it may go toward Marsha's. Could you show us how to email a group to another person?
yeah, will you be able to do that? Okay. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Majid Anwar, and so we talk about how to download EndNote and some of the other functionality, how to set it up. And so I will be covering one of the important part of EndNote. So you have all of these references. You have your EndNote library here. How do you go about creating a paper or writing an article, or how to go about using this information? So what you do the first time once you download this EndNote, and you open up Microsoft Word for the first time, you would realize that it will automatically create a little tab right here that will say EndNote X6, depending on the version that you download. So if you download an older version, it might give you EndNote X5 or X4, depending on what you type. So now you're ready to write a paper or an article. So this is what you would do. Let's say you're writing Okay, let's say you're writing a paper. This is where you want to insert your reference. So all you have to do, just make sure the cursor is there where you want to insert your reference, and just select a reference. Click on Tools, then Cite while you write, and insert selected citation. And once you select that, it will automatically insert in text and at the end of the paper citations. And you can see right now it's in annotated style. You can change it to different style. Let's say you want to change it to JAMA or AMA. You select that, it automatically changes the information for you automatically. And then you can continue on. You can select a different one. Let's say this is the one you want to select. Tools, and then it automatically continue on. And just keep in mind, because once you're done with your paper, what I would highly suggest that you kind of create a folder on the desktop that might say just EndNote, that might say EndNote and in a plain folder, because the reason is, let's say if you're sending this file to someone, this is what would happen, because this file is specific to your computer because you have EndNote, and if you're sending it to someone else who doesn't have the EndNote, then they might not be able to see some information properly because of the editing part of it. You can see it right here. Let me just quickly convert this to a different style. Okay, see right here, if I want to make changes to this in text citation, it does not allow me to make changes to it because right now it's using the EndNote functionality. So to do that, what I would have to do, I would have to save this file to the desktop. Okay, so I can come back to, let's say if I want to continue on with this paper, I can continue on, make changes to it. Okay, now let's say if you want to send this file to someone, before sending it, this is what you would have to do. You have to click right here, Convert Citation and Bibliography, Convert to plain text. And then once you do that, now you can directly make changes to it. And you can send this file over to whoever you want to send it to. Okay, so that's covering the Cite while you write option in the EndNote. Let's say you have a lot of PDF available already. How would you have them entered or have them uploaded into the EndNote? Well, this is what you can do. there are a couple of things that you can do. One thing that you need to make sure that you have a folder created. You can see that I created a little folder on the desktop that has all the PDFs in there. Sometimes it works properly, and for some of the references, you might have to actually work to have them corrected once they are in the EndNote, and I will show you how to go about doing that. So, but the first thing you need to make sure you have a folder created on the desktop, not embedded in multiple folders. Because if you have it embedded in the multiple folders, sometimes it does not upload those references properly. So make sure to have it on the desktop and have all of your references in that folder. And what I have seen that usually if you change, depending on how you name your file or the PDF, you can see the way I name it, I actually copy and pasted the title of the article itself as a file name. So you can see that's how they are listed there. So let's see how they will be actually uploaded there. So let's say if you want to import those PDF there, all you have to do is just click on File, Import, Folder, and then from here you select the option for folder, which is PDF. Okay, and now all you have to do is just click on Import. And you can see that some of the references will be imported properly and some of the references will not, depending on how it is named. And it's taking a bit longer, but let's see. And some of the references that are not going to be entered properly, there's a way to fix it. EndNote has a functionality, it's called Reference Update. And what it does, let's say if there's a mistake in the reference, or let's say some of the information is inaccurate, you can play around with it and see, how you can update it. You can take a look at it right here. See right here, these references are okay, but look at some of these references. These are not transported properly. So what you would have to do, you can see it in the file name, it automatically include .pdf and put these little symbols on the side. So let's say if you want to correct it, this is what you would have to do. You just double click on it. You take off this information right here with the symbols. And what I normally do, I usually actually just copy the title properly. So let's just copy, and let's just paste it there in the title. So I just copy and paste it there. Now I would close this to save it. So once it is saved, I will make sure that this reference is highlighted like the way it is right now. Then I will click on References and select this option, Find Reference Updates. And what it will do, it will try to locate this reference online and see if it can find all the information automatically. You can see that it located it online. And you can see on the left-hand side box where it says Available Updates, these are the different authors. And I didn't have it in my reference. So you can see that as you scroll down, you can see the information that it did not automatically upload it. So with this reference update, it will automatically enter these keywords and also the abstract and some other notes information and everything. So I want to have this update, so update all fields and save updates. Now you can see that this reference is inserted properly. So this is what you would have to do. Okay, if you have a lot of PDFs available, can you upload them in batches? You can do it in batches. Let's say if you have like different PDFs, one is about this topic, about history, the other one is something else, humanities, and the different topic. You can have multiple folders, and you can upload one at a time. You don't have to upload all of them all at once. Oh, reference. I believe yes. You can highlight all of the references once you have them in the EndNote library. You can highlight all of these and run a reference update, and it will do it. into the groups right here. All you have to do, yeah, see right there, you highlight all of them. Okay, well, let's say if you want this one, and this one, these three. All you do, just once these are highlighted, you click on it and then drag. Yeah. See right there? It's now 5. Okay, let me show you something else right here. Let's say you have this reference. I'm going to minimize it so you can see it right here that this one of the reference does not have a PDF. Let's say if you, for some reason, you already have a reference in the EndNote library, but you don't have the PDF. You have it available on your desktop. All you have to do, you can actually click and drag it to the right place. And then once you do that, it automatically inserted there. So that's all. You can do that too with it. Any question about this before we move on to one more little topic? Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm writing a paper and I want to share it with someone for review. And that person does not have EndNote installed on their computer. What do they see when I send them that Word file and a folder with all the references?
Oh, well, see, the thing is, let's say if they want. Oh. Okay, the question is if you create a document using Microsoft Word, using EndNote, and if you want to send that file over to someone who does not have the EndNote available on their end, what would they see, or how would they go about fixing or making changes or corrections to it? If you will send that file over to someone, I believe they will not be able to make changes properly because the format will be slightly different. And I have not seen the file because I already have EndNote on my computer. But we have received call from students who says, or professor, that this paper is submitted to us, but we cannot make changes because the student created the paper using the EndNote, and now professor, they cannot make changes to it or cannot correct it. And the format is all different. So that's why I suggested that just make sure if you're sending a file over to anyone that you believe does not have the EndNote available, you want to make sure you want to convert it into the plain text format before you send it. That way it will delete all those EndNote functionalities behind the background.
I have a question from someone online. Does EndNote save the PDF into its own library, or do you have to maintain the original folder with all of your PDFs where you retrieved it from?
Saves it in EndNote?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a folder.
Okay.
If you have the PDFs but don't have the reference, is there any way to convert it over without saving it again?
What you can do, what I would highly suggest that, let's say if there's a specific databases that you know that you normally search and you find the references in there or PDF from there, I would just go to that database and do the direct transport from there for reference. The reason is because if you manually try to type it, there's so much once you do the direct transfer, because it has like abstract, it has a special subject heading, keywords, it enters all the information automatically. So I would suggest go back to a database and see if you can search for it, or what you can do, sometime it has some searching option here, but I don't see it this time. I think somehow you can try to search from here because it seems like it's the edited version, but once you download the full version of it, you will see some of the little PubMed listed there. You will see EBSCO and some of the other. Sometimes it does not work properly. That's why I suggest that directly go to a database and search from there and transport. And then drag the PDF. Well, you can do it like the way I did with this way. See right here? I transported like all the folder. But let's say, let me delete this reference, one of the references right here. Okay, let's delete this one, Howard. Okay, let's see if he wants to have it. Click on File, Import. Now, let's click on File. Let's select the file. It's on desktop. And now I select my folder. I don't remember the title of it, but oh, let's do it this way. Let's delete this one. Okay. File, import, file, desktop. Okay. So this is the one that I deleted. So let's say this is the only one I want to have it there. So once you have a PDF, you just click open and import. EndNote Web, not the whole thing because it will take too much time. But regarding the EndNote Web, once you are downloading the EndNote to your computer, it gives you the options to create the EndNote Web account from there. And you can just sign up for it from there. But let's say if you forgot creating an account at that time, you can click on Help, and then you have the option right here, EndNote Web. And then once you click there, it will take you EndNote to the place EndNote Web account, and it will allow you to recreate the account from there. Let me show you one more functionality of this from here. It's like, let's say you have all of these references there, but you want to send or create a bibliography or something and send it or upload it for your students to read those articles. Then all you have to do is just highlight the option and just make sure, let's say if you want to have it in JAMA style, you can have it in that style. Or you can change a different style, let's say numbered, I don't know. So once you have it highlighted, click on Edit, and then copy, format it. Then open up a Word. Let's say this is you want to insert it, and just Control Paste. Control V for paste, and then you can see all of your references are there, and you can use it. Any other question? Yes, it does have in the EndNote Web. Does the PDF are also attached to the references? Yes, it does have the attachment functionality available in there. Yes. Okay, this concludes our session, and we have our cards on the table just in case if you have like further questions, you can contact us, or you can contact your one of the librarians here at the Elvin Sherman Library, and they should be able to help you with it as well too. And I'll try to contact Rick Davenport on my own time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's not. They just came up with the iPad app just a couple of months ago. And initially, if you were one of those lucky people who were able to download it, initially when it came out, it was just only $1.99. And now I believe it's almost like $10. So no, it is not part of the package. But I think maybe our contract needs to be renegotiated with them. Yeah. There is a whole, yes, you can be really elaborate in terms of creating the groups. You can see it in the EndNote. Let me show you right here. See, we just created like simple groups right here. See right there, once you click on group, it says create groups, it says create a smart group, it says create from groups. There's a whole tutorial video available. They have like on the EndNote, on the YouTube, they have like EndNote channel. I would highly suggest you go there. Yeah, and they have like a lot of videos available there. Just see one of their videos, because once I attended a session just creating groups, they have like 2-hour session itself on creating groups. It can get very elaborate. It is a lot more functionality than we covered because you cannot cover in 1-hour session anyway. So we just give you enough so that it kind of makes you interested, and then after that, if you want to explore more, yeah, you can go through it.
thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, please email me. It's soltau, S-O-L-T-A-U, @nova.edu. Thank you. Have a good day.